All right, guys. So good afternoon to everyone. And I've got a very special guest on this channel, Dean Griffiths, a very, very exceptional guest, has loads of experience in his professional coaching career, in his consultancy career. And one thing I like doing is I like interviewing credible experts that have a lot of, I would say, a lot of skin in the game. And Dean has gone way back in his career. He's an exceptional character in terms of we've met and we like to keep things real here. So this is a real sort of video interview discussing all about Dean's story and what he'll like to share with us. And what you know, guys, one of the things I like to do is keep this channel quite real. We like to share video interviews to all my connections and my audience that are well connected to me. So, Dean, it's a privilege to have you.
Naz, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, Dean. So, Dean, where should we start? You've gone a long way back in your career. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so now I'm an empowerment coach, but actually my career started in fitness. So I was a personal trainer. I
Oh,
trained in sports rehab. So I've shifted from the body to the mind, and actually it was working with clients with injuries that I realized actually what was blocking them wasn't actually what was happening on the physical level. It was actually what was happening on the mental emotional level. So for me, once I started addressing that, and I realized actually over time, the more clients address what was going on in their head, the easier it was then to resolve what was going on in their life or with their physical body or whatever. So for me, yeah, the mind is where I am now. So I love playing, but I also love playing with the body. So I still do some personal training, but the coaching is now my main business and what I do.
big word, empowerment coach. So, is this a new sort of buzzword we're hearing here? Because we went from coaching to consultancy coaching to entrepreneurial coaching, empowerment coaching. Tell my audience.
Yeah, I think, it's funny with coaching is like it used to be just, yeah, as you said, just coaching, right? But people have added things in. So maybe you specialize in something like business or relationships. But for me, it's not about one area. I'm about
Right.
giving the power back to people, reminding them of who they are. So for me, it's the empowerment part comes from me not giving you the answers, me helping you find the answers that you're looking for. So self-empowerment.
Amazing. And so, do you see this more important in today's world? Self-empowerment tools. Obviously, we're going to talk about a few techniques and about what your business is, but do you see this quite a need, especially with mental health growing?
Yeah, exactly for that reason. I think because of the awareness around mental health, I think the need for men and for women. Men, it's always been a little bit harder. For women, over the years, I've definitely found women have always wanted to come and work with a coach. Men, it's always been a kind of more a bravado, so not being so easy. But now, as I work with corporate clients, I'm working with a lot more men. So I think, yeah, very
Right.
much around mental health has actually had a big difference on how people are thinking about how they live their life and actually having someone to support them through that.
Amazing. And so, your business model, you're an empowerment coach. Tell us a bit more about your day-to-day schedules and sort of what you offer to my audience.
So I work with there's two ways of looking at it. I have the people who want to work more on the, in a sense, on a superficial level. So this is very
Right.
much my corporate clients. So they come with a particular problem that they want to resolve. So we will work every 2 weeks to then get to the issue, work on that, and then if they want to carry on, then we carry on with that. And then I have the people who want to go deeper, the people who are looking to upgrade who they are. So this means doing work on themselves in between the sessions. Same principle, every 2 weeks, so 2 sessions a month, we go down and we do the deeper work. So it depends on how deep people want to go. You can either keep it superficial, again, still very empowering, but
Yeah.
for those who actually wanted to work with me for longer, for like a year, I have clients who've been working with me for over 10 years, then we do the deeper work. Again, it's a choice of the client.
So you have two sides that you tackle in that aspect. Say if someone's listening to this interview now, how could you help them in terms of their coaching needs, in terms of what you can offer? Say if they're going through a mental health crisis, or they're 9 to 5 is getting to them through the rat race, through what is going on in the world. What shows you different to other people?
Here's the thing, most people are limited in what they think their problem is. So obviously, we all have a limit in what we believe. So when you have someone who can come from the outside and give you a different perspective or a different way of looking at it, then it makes a big difference to help you find the answers you're looking for. So what I've become good at over the years is firstly listening to people. understanding the language that they're
Very,
using and also the words
very
that they're
true.
not using, and then giving that language back to them in a different way so they get them thinking differently. The only problem that most people have in not resolving their own problems is that they're thinking the same thinking that created the problem in the first place. So when you can give them a different option to think about something, all of a sudden light bulbs start going off for people. So for me, really, it's very
Amazing.
simple. We just give you another way of thinking about your problem. That's all.
That's a concrete answer and straight to the point. And this is what we like to hear, straight to the point. So, how has coaching changed since COVID, Dean? I mean, obviously, we went from pandemic era to where we are now. The world has changed, and business has changed, and the way people think have changed. What can you tell us about how coaching has changed since the COVID days?
I think the biggest shift is actually moving online more. Now, I was very lucky. I was doing a lot of online business anyway before that. Most of my clients are not based in the UK, with the exception of my corporate clients. So I think what I've definitely seen a lot more is people coming or being happy to be coached online. But
Right,
also, again, it's actually, as you mentioned before, with the mental health issue, I think it's made more people aware that they actually need help. So I
they
think
do.
that again, that's changed. Again, we're moving away from going to a psychologist or someone else, and actually a coach can actually help me also. So I think it's definitely changed over the last couple of years around that.
The way I see it is people actually need coaches more and more these days, and especially empowerment coaches. They need someone to hold them by their hand. They need somebody to guide them. They need someone to sort of, I suppose, direct them in their career or in their. Some people might be going for a midlife crisis. How do you share your thoughts to this?
For me, my one of my main values is honesty. So my thing is not to give you the answers that you want, but give you the answers that you need. So sometimes
Correct.
you have to be honest with people and that they don't want to hear, but they need to hear. And again,
Yeah.
it's also again dropping things into a conversation that help people think about things in a different way, as I mentioned before. The thing is not saying that what you're thinking is wrong, that just how you're thinking is actually not
So you
helping you.
change their thinking in terms of what you do.
Exactly. So for me, it's again, it's giving that, still allowing them to have the empowerment of it, not saying, look, I have the answer and you don't have it. I want to help you find the answer. And when people do that, people appreciate that a lot more than thinking that they can only do it without you. That's a big deal.
Amazing. And we're going to talk about the techniques in a second about and your business model and where we can find you and so forth. Uh, Empowerment coaching. If a client came to you or somebody came to you from my network and said, "Look, can you name 3 points what an empowerment coach does?" How can you respond to that, Dean?
The first one is to give them
What can
clarity.
you tell them? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I need to give them clarity. I need to make sure that first of all that I understand what they think their problem is, and that I actually can help them resolve that. The second thing is then to start giving them the first tool that they can do it. So people are looking for results, right? So if you can't give someone something after one
true.
session, then why would they want to keep working with you? So you have to give them something straight away that
So
first
they
of all
want
makes it,
results.
they want results, but they also feel safe in actually working with you because they know that you can help them. And I had a lot of clients who would say to me, in 10, 15 minutes of meeting you, I already know that you can help me with my problem. That's always what I'm trying to aim to do with each of my clients. I want them to feel safe and comfortable enough to know that I can help them resolve whatever their problem is.
Amazing. And so the first 10 minutes, you would know straight away what the client needs are and how you can help them. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think remember, it's a two-way relationship. So it's got to make sure they're comfortable, the client's comfortable, but also me as a coach. So sometimes
That's
I
right.
meet someone, I go, I think I can help them, but I don't think I'm the right person for them. That's also a very empowering thing for myself and for a client. Say, look, sometimes it doesn't work also.
Doesn't work
So
out.
again, it's being comfortable with that also. Yeah.
Amazing. So the techniques, Dean. So you use a combination of techniques. Obviously, I'm not a professional certified coach, but you did run this past me, and you wanted to sort of share some of your techniques because there are a few. And so EFT, PSYCH-K, and this sort of hypnotherapy, and another technique that you're going to discuss with me. Can you share those points?
Yeah. So obviously hypnotherapy is probably the most known for most people because they've probably heard of it and they think, you go to someone, a hypnotherapist, when you have a problem that's kind of quite deep, like
Right.
smoking or addiction or something.
Okay.
For me, I use it to help people to get to the
So for
parts of their
coach for
mind.
smoking and alcohol related.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I think a lot of people would traditionally think about hypnotherapy. I use it as a way to access parts of your mind that are being blocked that not helping you find the answers that you're looking for. Now,
Right.
PSYCH-K is the main technique that I use because it helps you change the beliefs that you have at a subconscious level. For me, it's number one technique that I found over the years to actually have the most effect on people changing how they're thinking. And then the
Right.
EFT is something that they use in
That's the
between
one. Hmm.
to then confirm stuff with people. It helps kind of ingrain those kind of beliefs that we've changed deeper into the subconscious mind. So again, it keeps you in a kind of right mindset in between each of the sessions.
So you're basically helping people sort of navigate from, would you say, depression and anxiety to more sort of a level-headed therapy session where you provide these services. Is that correct?
Yeah, and and it's also differentiate. It's not therapy. Again, there's a
Right.
therapeutic aspect to it. It's coaching.
Okay.
Again, it's like saying,
Or
I'm
techniques. Mm.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So the idea is to help people. Again, my clients come to me relationship problems, success problems. Very few come with depression or anxiety per se, because
Okay.
that's the symptom, not the cause. So it's normally
Right.
looking at what's the main cause for them. It's normally relationships is a big one for a lot of people on a personal level, and then on career-wise, it's either money or there's like a lot of my clients actually have issues with other colleagues in where they work. So for me, that's also then resolving, which is not a problem with a colleague. It's normally a problem with themselves that once they resolve, then the problem with the colleague also changes straight away.
So to all my audience actually listening to this video interview, you actually help people with relationship problems, money problems. And so you break that down through the variety of techniques. What can you tell my audience what you can offer them?
So for those who just want to kind of get a feel and actually go again, for me, anyone who wants to work with me, I always do a free session just to help them understand.
Okay.
I need to make sure that relationship works for both sides, first of all. And then it's a decision by the client. Do you want to keep it, in a sense, superficial, as I mentioned before, or do you want to go down the rabbit hole and see where this takes you? So it really depends on the client where they want to go. For me, it's client driven.
Right.
The client needs to tell me what they want. I then guide them to where they want to go.
If they want to go down the rabbit hole, would you go with them and hold their hand in that
Yeah,
sense?
I mean, exactly that. Again, but they have to be ready for that. That's why they need to make sure that they're ready to do that. And exactly that. They have access to all my clients have access to me 24/7. So it
Right.
means that even
Amazing.
when things are not going well in between, they can contact me whenever they need to.
Amazing. Wow. So I'm enjoying this talk with you, Dean, and also learning more about yourself and what you're offering. Um, lastly, I would say what before we break down this interview to the end, tell us a little bit about why you decided to become an empowerment coach.
For me, actually, it wasn't my intention. I was a personal trainer. I was
Mm,
always thinking about the fitness side. It wasn't when the clients then started showing me what their real problem was. It's actually then I shifted my way of thinking. So it's funny because a
right.
lot of people who I've worked with over the years say, I think I want to be a coach. I go, you want to help people. That's always been my main focus.
And
So the
so trust
coaching
is a
again,
big thing to you.
yeah, trust is huge for me. Again, it
Right.
has to be for any kind of long-term relationship with any client or any business that you work with. So for
True.
me, yeah, I just transitioned into it naturally. It was basically who I was becoming anyway, whether I was aware of it or not.
Amazing. And so to the people, we're going to find out where Dean is on LinkedIn. You're quite active there
Yeah.
yourself, and we're going to share some information shortly about that. Tell us a little bit about sort of the experiences you've gained before we sort of wrap this up. Who have you worked with? I would like to know your clientele base and sort of what you've given them.
So my clients, so my corporate clients, obviously, I'm
Yep.
working with actually the two main industries I work in right now are construction and fashion, which are very
Right.
contrasting, really. It's very interesting to kind of actually that I fall into these kind of sectors. But
Areas.
again, yeah, and then my private clients, again, they find me either through my content on something like Instagram, or they find me through someone that they know who's already worked with me. So most of my business comes through recommendation, which is the best way I always think business. And
Okay.
it's always about building the relationship from the start as well in the right way.
Amazing. And we like to keep things real here and honest, and people who have obviously tuned in. Dean, where can we find you? And tell us a bit about exactly, your contact address and so forth.
Yeah, so my website is deangriffiths.com, and through there you can contact me about the coaching. If you just want to follow me on my social media, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, My Upgraded Mind.
Amazing. And anything finally you'd like to say, and obviously share something that we might not know, or something that we're still trying to grasp in terms of what you're doing?
Actually, I want to share a quote, which is one of my favorite quotes. I share a lot of quotes on my Instagram because I think they're so empowering. And one of my favorite quotes is, what someone else thinks about you is none of your business. Most of the problems that
Wow,
most people have in life
powerful.
is because they're worried about what other people are thinking about them.
That is so true. And do you think in the business world, a lot of people think like that now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with senior level
Right,
people in companies, same thinking, exactly same thinking. We all have an inner child. We all have these aspects of ourselves in our mind that will play out regardless of what level of wealth you have or what level of
right.
status you have.
So just ignore it and just focus on yourself and keep growing.
Not to ignore it, but to understand it. Why, for me, the, always asking why is so important in resolving any problem. We always
Right,
have to ask why. Remember, I always say you ask a question 7 times because the first few times you ask it, your mind will give you the obvious answers. But when you ask a question 7 times, the seventh layer of that questioning will normally give you something closer to the truth that you're looking for. So again, always asking questions. For me, the number one thing you can do for anybody is ask questions. The more we ask questions, go back to children. Children have
right.
done it their whole growing up. They're
Yeah.
always asking questions. Why this? Why that? Again, that's what we don't do enough as adults. That's something I encourage with my clients.
Amazing. And something finally I like to say from my side, you said the truth and trust of what you do is the pinnacle of your coaching career. Is that what your clients want? Is that what they need in terms of what you give them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think me being true to myself allows other people to be true to themselves. That's what it comes down to. I
Right.
share my stories. I share my hardships with my clients so they understand that I'm still going through my stuff and how I deal with it. That's just
Amazing.
being true to yourself. It's being comfortable in who you are. That's not easy to do, and that takes time to do it. But I've seen clients who've gone from being very shy and timid and lacking confidence in a
Right.
space of less than a year to being very, very confident in what they do, not just in their business life, but also in their personal life.
And I suppose that's why they come to you to obviously help them sort of bring them up in the correct fashion, in the right
Yeah,
way.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, it's because I have to do the work on myself. I
Yeah.
work on myself as much as my client as I ask my clients to. I have high expectations of my clients because I have high expectations of myself.
There you go, guys. It's been an absolute privilege to interview Dean, and listen to an honest, truth about what Dean does as an empowerment coach. And if you like to reach out for Dean and his services, definitely get in touch with him on LinkedIn. He's very active on Instagram as well. And this is just an honest video interview, just telling my audience about Dean's story. Dean, it's great to have you, sir, and look forward to hearing more about your next steps and so forth. Is there anything lastly you like to say?
Pleasure, Naz. Thank you. I think anyone who just wants to have a conversation, reach out. Don't feel like you have to feel like you need to work with me. I'm happy to help people in any kind of problems that they have.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Dean, and I hope you enjoyed this video interview, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.